According to the Department of Veteran Affairs, an average of 22 veterans have died from suicide every day in the year 2014. That's the recent numbers. Our next guest has a campaign that helps prevent suicide rates from increasing and helping veterans. We welcome now the CEO of Devil Dog Incorporated, Sergeant Gonzalo Duran. And we thank you for coming and sharing with us. And most of all, thank you for your service.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Listen, it's sad to talk about the fact that when we talk about veterans and a lot of the challenges that they have, that many are actually succumbing to suicide, and you really, in your organization, are really going front and center with dealing with the issue of suicide.
Yes. You know, people tend to look at that number 22. That's not an actual number. It could be less. It could be a lot more. There's no systematic form to get all the data into one organization. On top of that, 22 per day, you times that by 1 year, that's over 8,000 per year for the last 4, 5, 6 years. You can just imagine how many numbers that's. It outweighs everything from 9/11 to what we've lost in war.
Right. And when we talk about the suicide rate, what are we attributing this to? I mean, obviously we've got veterans out there, they've served on the front lines. Are there any common denominators that we're seeing that is a cause for this suicide?
Yes, there's a lot of things that coming back home. Just on something simple as education. You know, when you go in at 18, you come out 4 or 8 years later, you're already like 6 years behind the average person that went to college, who had 2 years of experience. You know, how do you maintain that? Like myself, I came out as a sergeant making $60,000 a year, and then coming back offered entry-level jobs at $20,000, $30,000. Imagine the hit in the wall that brings up.
Right. It's a huge transition, and you've been able to make the transition and also help people with the transition through Devil Dogs Incorporated. For somebody who doesn't know about your organization, what do you guys do?
So we focus on 3 pillars, basically. It's a housing through either our housing project that we have recently done a presentation on, a referral program, resources, and recreation. Now, since I'm a national figure within the veteran community, the resources that I bring to the table are all over the country. So it's into the Bronx, all in one spot, and it's amazing what I've been able to accomplish in 4 years by myself. Well, I got a team, but basically without federal grant monies or anything like that. It's strictly donations through sponsors.
And people are coming and helping out in major kind of ways.
Yes, unfortunately, most of our income comes outside the Bronx. I mean, it's a shame that most politicians don't help us out, even though they all know me, but they choose not to.
Right.
I mean, I get more help from little counties in Florida than I do in my own backyard.
Okay, so give me a little bit about homelessness, because homelessness is a major issue that veterans face, and it's hard to believe that you come back home after serving your country and you have to struggle with a place to live, and yet and still that's really on the minds of a lot of veterans these days as well, and a lot of people deal with that.
Yes, the homeless dilemma that we have that's more prominent that I focus on is student veteran homelessness. Now, myself, I like to put myself in the forefront so that other veterans don't have to be embarrassed of the situation, because saying that you're a 26-year-old sergeant who used to do some crazy stuff and then you come back to being homeless, once again, that's another hard wall to hit. But an example, quick, easy, I got out in 2011 in November. Because school didn't start until January and you have to wait 30 days to get your first paycheck from your educational benefits, I was homeless for 3 to 4 months. Now, there's $60,000 that went to my education and $40,000 with grants and stipends, etc., for my to live off of. Now it's $100,000 for 3 years, yet everywhere I went to look for an apartment, everybody denied me. Maybe there was 1 or 2 bad apples that broke the system or something like that, but that's where we're coming to in the Bronx, in LA, and all over the country. It's not just a New York City or New York State thing. It's a national issue, and that's why I've been so present in pushing this agenda for the last 4 years.
And you've been talking about being on a national agenda, talk about going across the country, really speaking. What's the response that you get? What are people saying when you go and share the story, and what your efforts are?
The problem is a lot of organizations and individuals know this, but nobody wants to do anything. Everybody keeps on passing the buck to the next person, and it's unfortunate that smaller organizations and individuals that want to do the right thing are the ones that are taking basically the brunt of the disaster that's coming in.
Talk about reducing the suicide rate campaign. Obviously, that is major for you as well, trying to reduce the numbers of suicides, making awareness about that. We want to get a chance for you to share a little bit with our viewers what exactly you're doing and how you're making that happen too.
Yes, so I was hoping that we would start out this conversation in a more lighter, especially with all the controversy going on this morning.
Yeah. It's pretty intense. It's pretty intense days.
So let me try to brighten up everything. Hopefully the next person behind me is also brightening it up. But 22 hugs a day to combat the 22 veteran suicide per day. I go around asking individuals to give me a hug, and then I post it and I share a little story if I can. The purpose of it is to tell everybody, look, when we get out of the military, we were institutionalized to be quick, fast, in a hurry, without question, to orders. To come back to that, it's a very difficult thing. But if we can lower our defenses, we open ourselves to possibilities. Now, that possibilities can be either reaching out to somebody or resources or just talking to somebody, and that's my goal. I've done every possible thing. I've been on national networks, I've gone across the country, I've done articles, I've done speaking engagements. I can't tell you how much I've done, and this is my last big effort into trying to change those numbers.
Sergeant Gonzalo Duran, Chief Executive Officer of Devil Dogs Incorporated. If people want more information, what do they do?
You can go on our website, www.devildogusainc.org. If you're a veteran and you believe that you're about to commit suicide, please go on our website and Military One Source, or excuse me, Veteran Crisis Line for you. If you're active duty, you can go to Military One Source. If you're a non-veteran, non-service member, you can go to New York City Well, all located in our website. And if you need something in the tri-state area to see somebody directly, NYU Lagoon is one of our partners. I'll be happy to direct you there.
Sergeant Gonzalo Duran, first of all, thank you very much for your service. We hope that you have a happy Veterans Day and continue to do the good work. And certainly thank you for bringing awareness to us in our borough for the need for veteran services. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much now. All right, listen, we take a quick break. We're shifting from veteran services to talk about HIV preventions along with the latest HIV breakthrough. We'll explain a little bit more right after this.